Most businesses are using AI now, but very few are actually using it properly.
They're typing in one-line prompts, getting average results, and assuming AI just isn't that good. When in reality, the problem isn't the AI.
It's how you're using it. In this episode, we're going to break down exactly how to use an AI prompt properly, or AI in general properly, using a simple framework that will instantly improve your outputs. Stay tuned in. Welcome back to the Marketing Podcast for Local Businesses, the show that gives you practical, proven marketing advice to help you grow your business right here in the UK. My name's Adam. I'm a best-selling Amazon-published author of Becoming Strategic Business Leader, the ultimate all-in-one guide. I'm also an AI enthusiast and founder of www.websitedesigners.london. We've helped businesses generate tens of millions of pounds online through smarter design and marketing.
And my name's Josh. I'm the founder of ImproveMySearchRanking.com, a specialist SEO agency based in London. We've worked with well over 400 businesses, helping them generate in excess of £200 million in sales.
Fantastic. So I'm going to start by saying this off the bat. I've talked about this twice already, and I'm not trying to do this for bragging rights, but more so to say how practical and topical this session is. I've talked about this particular topic twice, once to a series of professionals, to over 1,007 professionals, and the feedback we got was, the best session ever, and I've been asked to talk about it at a different event to other professionals as well. So you guys are in for an absolute treat, and I'm super passionate about it, as you can probably tell. So let's start with the core issue. Most people treat AI like Google or your Microsoft Bing. They type in something like, I don't know, write me a blog post, full stop. And usually, I won't knock it, the output will be relatively okay. It'll be an okay output, but you can make it 10 times better. So
yeah, I mean, I suppose it's all about how precise you are with the prompting, which I guess is obviously the framework we'll be getting into today. So if you give it something generic, it's going to give you, as you say, not a bad output, but it's not going to be spectacular. It's not going to be to the greatest possible level. And today we're going to show you how to improve that.
Absolutely. And ultimately, you make a good point, Josh. AI is not really a search engine. It's a LLM, large language model, whereby it's going to help generate an output based on the input you give it. It's about how well you instruct AI. And it's this framework that we're going to share with you. It's so simple. And there are 4 words you need to remember, and you're sorted. So this is where prompting, or the input that you put in, the language you use, the sentence you give it, is the most important. But what is a prompt? I appreciate I briefly touched on it. Josh, I don't know if you give us a kind of a breakdown of what a prompt is.
Yes, so a prompt is simply the instructions you give to your AI, your LLM of choice, GPT, maybe Gemini, whatever it may be. And done properly, it completely changes the quality of the output. So you can have a good prompt or a bad prompt. From the material here, that we're going to be going through, there's kind of 3 main benefits of prompting well. The first is a better productivity. Second is higher quality output. And third is a reduced kind of risk.
Absolutely. And if we further develop on that, the productivity, well, you don't need to iterate each time. So if you think about it, we type in something in ChatGPT and say, write me a blog post, it might write your blog post about the different types of cheeses in Europe, right? But in reality, you're a plumber and you want to write a blog post about an L-shaped bend. Is that a thing? I don't know. Okay, I just created that. Let's go back to my baker, because I love a bit of cake. You want to write a blog post about the best types of cake, or most popular cake choices for a wedding. I just invented that off the top of my head here. But it's giving you completely different outputs. Talk about cheese. So I know this seems very simple in concept, but instead of typing I want a blog post, you say I want a blog post, and then you give it a bit more information later, and then it gives you something else, or it gives you an output, but you want to refine it a little bit more, so you have to go back to ChatGPT. The framework we're going to give you will reduce the need for you to keep going back and iterate and give it another prompt and tell it, oh no, this is not what I meant, this is what I meant. The accuracy, well, think about it. If you're very clear with your prompt, then there's a lower chance it's going to give incorrect, incomplete, or non-compliant responses, especially if you've got a larger firm and you're dealing with sensitive information. And thirdly, the great point that Josh mentioned about the risk element. If you're clear with your prompt, you're going to help avoid biases and any harmful outputs that your team might end up, or you might end up popping into ChatGPT, a prompt which isn't very descriptive or very helpful for the AI platform, and then it end up including a bit of customer information or sensitive information, etc. So the framework we're going to give you will help combat all of that. Now, there is this concept called human in the loop, sometimes abbreviated to HITL. Human in the loop. Essentially, what that is, it's all about saying, don't just go and copy your AI output. Sense check it. Be that individual to check whether the prompts are factually correct. Does it align with all your internal policies, if you have any? Does it align with your brand tone and storytelling style? Is it missing anything? Is it unclear? Are the sources accurate? Does the tone fit? Could you put your name on it, essentially? And there are things that you need to consider, because of the output.
Of course, yeah. So AI often miss the nuance. Its answer might not be complete, and it can often be confidently wrong. We've heard of the term hallucinating. So oftentimes, LLMs can just manufacture an output that is completely factually incorrect, but it's confidently telling you this is the truth. I've seen many other examples of this recently, actually. Unrelated really to this topic, but I saw a video of this guy. He makes comedy sketches about ChatGPT on Instagram and TikTok. I don't know if you guys have seen them, but he said to ChatGPT, "I'm about to run a mile. Please time me." And then ChatGPT says, "Okay, sure." He walks about 5 meters, comes back, says, "I'm finished." And he says, "ChatGPT, how quick was my mile time?" And ChatGPT said, 10 minutes. But he'd been gone for a few seconds. So just as an example, make sure to sense check, because these LLMs aren't always perfect.
Absolutely. And more, not to lower the tone or be sinister here, there have been examples of, and I know we're probably diverging on the topic here, but the capabilities of AI is what I'm trying to highlight with this point. There have been instances where young children have used AI, and it's been so agreeable that the child has then self-harmed because it just agrees with you. So again, being able to prompt well, but of course I'm not conflating prompting with this child's unfortunate kind of self-harm here. I appreciate they're completely different things. I guess the point of, I probably shouldn't even said anything related to that kid now, but just, if we take this back to business and just leave that awful situation I probably shouldn't have brought in, just check and challenge is the kind of main takeaway here. Back to business. Okay. This is the most important part of the episode. If you don't take anything else away from today's episode, this is the part where you should turn us up a little and listen in. We just want you to remember 4 things. Josh, do you want to do the honor of just sharing those 4 headlines, and then we'll go into them in a bit more detail?
Sure. So 4 parts are: number 1, the task; then the context; thirdly, the persona, and fourthly, the desired output.
Great. So I'll take the first one, Josh. Task. Quite simply, what do you want the AI to do? Explain the concept. That would be an example of a task. Generate ideas. Create a logo. Write a draft. Create a blog post. Create a graphic image. Those are all examples of a task.
Next would be context. So, what is the situation that you're asking for? Who's it for exactly? These are two questions to consider. Basically the audience. Who is the target audience for this? You need to fill in the prompt and tell the LLM who the audience is, what the situation is, and also the assumed knowledge of that individual who is going to be receiving this information.
Absolutely. So examples, right? So what does good look like? Well, if we think about a bit of context. So let's say the task will be help me plan dinners. If you add the context in, it'll be help me plan dinners for a busy week where I only want to spend about 20 minutes each night to cook. So you've now got the task and the concept. Persona is a third one that Josh mentioned. So who should the AI be? For example, act as a senior marketing strategist, or act as an expert blog writer, or act as a superb graphic designer. Just tell the AI who you want it to pretend to be. So in the example of our kind of cooking dinner example, if you add in the task, the context, and the persona, you'd be saying, you are a practical home cook, and then help me plan for a busy week where I only have 20 minutes each night to cook. Give me um, and then that's that bit. And then you've got the desired output.
Yes, so this is part 4 of the framework. So this is where you instruct the LLM to give you the answer in a particular format, whether that be, for example, bullet point, list, a full copy of a blog post, a table, a comparison table. Those would be some kind of desired ways you could ask it to output the information.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what does that look like if we kind of refer back to our example of the practical home cook? So we've talked about task, context, and persona. We've told it we want it to be a practical home cook. We've added that we've got 20 minutes, and we told it we want the recipes. So what's the desired output for this? Well, the desired output is so you're a practical home cook, no fuss meals, help me plan dinners, busy week where you only got 20 minutes to cook. Give me a 5-day menu with a simple recipe summary in a bulleted list. That last bit, simple recipe summary in a bulleted list, that is the output. So task, context, persona, output. Just remember that. Just keep repeating it. Remember that.
It's kind of like a new way of, so with Google, you'd write your search query in one way, and historically you probably typed in and learned a good way to use Google to get the best possible outcome. Whereas this with LLMs, it's obviously not Google. You need to be a lot more precise and give context and all the information we said there, and that's going to give you a much better result.
Absolutely. So look, what does good look like? What does bad look like? Josh, do you want to take this away? What does a bad one look like? And what does a good one look like?
A bad prompt would be where you just simply a bit like a Google search back in the day. So you might just type in, well, maybe not actually. I was thinking if you're searching for a local business, a bad prompt might be
Plumber.
plumber. Yeah. And it's just going to give you a completely unrelated list of plumbers. They're not near you. They can't solve the solution that you have a problem with at the moment. Another example, if you're looking for AI to actually create you something, it might be something like write me a Facebook ad. So in that example, you give it no context, you give it no information about the kind of output you want. It's not specific in any way, shape, or form.
Absolutely. A good prompt would have a bit more detail. Remember, task, context, persona, output. So instead of write me a Facebook ad, good looks like act as a senior UK digital marketing expert, write a Facebook ad for a local plumbing business targeting homeowners in London. Context. Focus on emergency callouts and fast response time. More context. Use a persuasive tone, all desired output. Include headline, main copy, and call to action. That's desired output. So at the beginning, persona, then, so seeing the UK digital marketing expert, write a Facebook ad, task, lots of context, and the last bit, write a headline, main copy, and call to action, output. Simple as that.
Yeah, so it's that good prompt is obviously going to give you a completely different result compared to the terrible example I gave earlier.
So iteration is where the magic happens as well. Look, another key point here is iteration. You don't just prompt once to refine it. Even if you have that brilliant prompt, it may not be exactly what you want it to be because maybe the output is not perfect, and that's okay. Have that conversation with AI. Don't take the first thing it comes across, right? You refine it.
Exactly. So you can then follow up with your prompt where you have the task context, so like that, and then say things like, make this more persuasive, shorten this, make it more concise, add to urgency, rewrite this with a beginner audience in mind.
Absolutely. We're going to leave 5 tips of what to use, or what to do to improve your results. So be specific, don't be vague. Give background information, context. Define the format, output. Use roles, persona, like expert, tutor, reviewer, and clearly state your goal, context, output.
One bonus one, I suppose, would be also to tell AI in that same prompt what not to do.
Yes. Great takeaway. Again, AI does have limitations. You need to understand it, relies on information you give it, can hallucinate, to Josh's point earlier, and it doesn't understand the context like a human yet. This is where you might want to plug your human and robots have rights.
Oh, yes. robots@rights.com.
So, look, if you give it poor input, you're going to get poor output. It's as simple as that. So, if you're a local business owner, this is a huge massive opportunity because most of your most of your competitors are probably they don't know that 4-step framework unless they've been to one of my talks.
So if you're a local business, you can use what we spoke about today, this really great framework to create better content, to write better ads, to improve your website, to use tips in from previous episodes. We talk about developing tools and things for your website with AI. Using this framework is going to help you do that in a much more efficient and effective way.
Absolutely. Now shift your mindset. The biggest shift here is AI is not the expert, you are, right? It's just a tool and the best results will come from using AI to generate the ideas, but you need to refine and validate.
So if you're using AI right now and not getting great results, it's probably not the tool. It's the way you are prompting it. So if you fix that with everything we've discussed today, everything else will change for the benefit of yourself and your business.
So Josh said I was a bit like Stephen Bartlett in that last bit of the previous episode, and I'm going to be a bit like Stephen Bartlett again in this last bit. So please give us a follow because it means a lot. It helps us get found, and he is true of that,
Yes.
right? And it helps us come back, and we don't have the millions and millions of budget that he probably has to promote it all. Give us 5 stars, follow us, tell a friend to tell a friend. We appreciate you. Thank you for listening.